Alright guys, welcome back. So I want to quickly go through these names. We have talked about these names. I personally have traded NNE, but three stocks: NNE, OKLO, SMR. These are the nuclear names that I'm watching. These are more highly speculative small cap names. Market just opened. So let's go quickly through these names and I'll tell you what's going on with these names, and these are purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. So the stock NNE, last time I talked about these levels being possibly the top areas and to be cautious and not get flushed down. Exactly, we pulled back to these areas, but I did not trade these at these levels. So 32.50, this is the area where NNE bounced and looks like it did fill this gap down. So today it is filling this gap. So I myself am not interested in trading these ranges or buying and holding. That's not my strategy. I mainly trade breakouts or breakdowns. Hence why you can see my alerts here for the stock. So if it's going to stay in the range, I'm not interested. So this stock looks like earnings coming up 12th of February, but at the same time option volume was not looking too crazy. So for me, I either follow the flow, big option flows. If there's pretty crazy option flows coming into the upside and the stock at the same time pushing to the upside, then I join. But so far for me, yeah, this is the gap fill area I was watching. So this is still resistance for me. Highest close probably the 44.50. Maybe if it closes above this level, it would be interesting to have it on a watch list. Still on a watch list for me, and it's very low float stock. Okay, so regarding volume, yeah, volume has been declining after this huge rally right here that we had from 22 all the way to 48, almost doubling. So volume has been declining slowly, but today market just opened. Still a lot of time left. It's been only 1 hour. There's a lot of earnings coming in, but for the stock, again, this is the resistance. If it closes above 45, yeah, looks bullish. Momentum to the upside, still digesting this big flush down that we had after DeepSeek headlines where everything pretty much flushed down. So regarding OKLO, let's take a look at that name. So this name is pretty much doing exactly the same, but maybe looking a little bit better. So filling this 39.50-ish, this gap down that it had on Monday. So again, for this name, I'm watching 43.70. This is my resistance. This is the breakout area I would be interesting. So after this huge flush down, well, it looks like it's found a support at 30, but if it closes below 30, I mean, if it tries to fade here, it can definitely come down to these levels of 30 and maybe even 50-day moving average of 27 if you're watching this name to the downside. So volume elevated, and let's take a look at the short data where a lot of people have a little bit hard time reading this one. I use this data where it may not be accurate, but again, when you see a stock that is very hard to borrow or very few shares available to borrow and short interest is high in general, this is what's going to happen when as soon as locating the shares to possibly short with shares goes to zero or becomes very low and it's hard to borrow and locating it's difficult, you're going to see if stock price starts pushing higher or just stays there and doesn't go down. These people who shorted it, they're going to panic and they're going to pretty much start covering. And this has been happening actually. If you take a look at the short volume, it is still, I mean, there are different platforms that can locate it, even hard to borrow shares. That's why you can see 52% volume short yesterday. The day before yesterday, for 58%, 51%, so highly shorted. Okay, this is regarding OKLO. NNE, we can quickly take a look at this one as well. I shared this one last time too. Yeah, there's not much of a shares available to short. Again, of course, I'm looking at one broker data, but in general, if one is having hard time locating, that means this stock is not easy to borrow, and anybody who's trying to short, I mean, there's not much available shares to short, and what happens is the short squeezes, often short squeezes, and you can look at the short volume as well. It does not mean that they're not able to locate any. It just means some brokerages are having a hard time to locate it, but there are definitely many professional brokers that you have never heard of it that can locate any sorts of hard to borrow shares. And looks like this is pretty highly shorted stock as well in the last few days, where stock has reclaimed back above. So if it makes a new high, well, you got to watch out for the squeeze. It can definitely push higher. Okay, so for NNE, for OKLO, well, again, 42, maybe it was the highest closing price, 42, 41.80 something. So 42, above 42 looks very interesting for me. And again, as somebody who trades breakouts, I'm not a dip buying guy, I'm not a buy and hold guy. Again, these videos are purely for entertainment. SMR is another name. This is another nuclear name, which doesn't look as exciting as these two, because it has high at $32 levels, and then very recent rally failed right back to these choppy areas of between 18 and 24. So for this name, yeah, 24 resistance above, it has a gap to fill, but it's not participating as much as those guys, because this doesn't have clean price action. I mean, it is very, very choppy trade. I don't like this sort of a Christmas tree charts where it cannot have a 2-3 consecutive days of a green day or red day. So, but again, for me, I will be interested in SMR above 32. Up until then, not interested. If it takes out this level, sure, it can definitely rally, but to the downside, if it loses $18 level, it can come down to $14. But again, just like the last time I was talking about these names, you got to be careful with these names. Okay, they can do something like this. OKLO has done it many times. It will try to hint that it wants to break out and then fall right back down. It will try to hint that it wants to break down and then fall right back down. Same thing can happen up here. Okay, it will try to hint that it wants to break out and then flush down again. Regarding NNE, let's take a look. Same situation. Okay, identical pattern. All of these names can just give you a little bit of an excitement to the upside, and then pretty much chop around or just fade and kill premium if you're somebody who's not trading stock and trading options just like me. You're going to end up losing money more often than you will make money trying to long or short these names with short dated contracts. So got to be careful with options on these ones. And this is the update for these nuclear names. These are the levels I'm watching. This is what I'm looking at. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next update.